Hey Ben, I'm going to show you how to create a group in Facebook that's private. Once you log into Facebook, if you click on the down arrow that's in the upper right corner, you'll see Create Page. And I looked at this before I started the video. It seems like the cause or community would probably be the best one for the Socrates Cafe. So you would just type in your cause or community, and I won't do the Socrates Cafe because that would be yours. I'm going to do the yellow-beaked woodpecker because everybody knows it needs its own page. And I think I'm actually going to create a group, which is basically a group that lets you invite specific people where they can all discuss things. And that's actually, I think, the one I should be naming the yellow-beaked woodpecker. And then who do I want to add to the group? I'll do that in a little bit. Right now, I need to choose whether I want it to be open, which means that anybody can see who is in it and what we post. I don't think that's what you want, because if anybody in the world got onto Facebook and searched for Socrates, your group would appear in the search results. They could click on it and see who's in the group and everything they've said. I think they can even post, and I don't think you want that. What you probably want is secret, where only members can see the group, who's in it, and what they post. So if someone who wasn't in the group searched for Socrates, your group wouldn't even appear in their results. So I'm going to go ahead and do secret. And then I need to add some friends to the group. And these would be people who had Facebook accounts. So only those types of people could obviously use this particular group. And I don't know if that many of the Socrates Cafe members have Facebook accounts. But I'm gonna invite Mariah just for fun. And I'll invite Joshua, who still goes by Josh on Facebook. But so you just type in their names right there, or start typing in their names. Like I can invite, oh, you're not showing up on my Facebook. Maybe you're there as Angus Song. So I'm going to invite you to that group too. And I'm going to say create. Oh, this will be a great icon for the yellow-bellied or yellow-beaked woodpecker. And now there is the beginnings of my group. So if Mariah, Lynn, and you accept the invitation, then y'all can start posting on this wall. And everybody who's a member of this group can see these posts. And it really is that simple. All right, now on to creating an index in Microsoft Word. I know you emailed me and said that your version of Word was Windows 7, but that's actually your version of Windows. It's not your version of Word. To find out your version of Word, I can click my Help button, and, well, it's not showing me. I happen to know my version is Word 2013. Excuse me a moment. Sure. You want to make that? Yeah. Okay. Okay. I thought you were asking permission. Alright, just ignore that. So hold on a second. I know older versions would say what version they were up here. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. If you don't, though, see these menus up here like mine, you need the references menu, then email me and let me know, and we'll figure out something else. So to create an index, what I'm going to do is just go down to where you've got some words and highlighted in orange. So here's your first one, and I'm just double clicking it, and it highlights the entire word. Other than, I mean, the other thing you can do that takes a lot longer is just to put your cursor at the beginning of the word press your mouse button and drag your mouse to highlight the word. But once you do that a lot of times, double clicking will save you a lot of time. So now I'm going to go to references, and you want to do what's called mark an entry. So it pops up the word ideas, which is the word I had highlighted. And I was looking through the index that you had generated, and I see that a couple of things. One, you don't want the word ideas indexed for every page that it's on. And two, sometimes you have sub-entries for different index items. So I'm just going to make up some to show you what to do. These don't relate to what you actually have in your index at all. So I'm just looking at the sentence, and I see that the word in ideas is next to the word disease. So I'm going to put as a sub-entry as it relates to disease. And I'm just then going to click. I can click mark all, or I can click mark. If I click mark, it marks only this particular reference for ideas, and it marks it with this sub-entry as it relates to disease. If I clicked mark all, it would mark every time the word ideas appeared in your book. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but when I clicked mark, it popped up this embedded code. This code will not appear when you print your book. It won't appear when the book is converted to Kindle. It is just embedding this code so Microsoft knows that this is an index entry. Now, the word authoritarian, I'll double click it, mark entry, and here I'll do it as it relates to tyranny. And I will just click mark on this one. I double clicked fastest, and it didn't change it here in the mark entry, index entry dialog box. So what I've got to do is just click this one more time up here, mark entry, and it updates the dialog box to have the currently selected word as my main entry. This one I'm not going to give it a sub entry, and I'm going to click mark all. So now you see it marked it right up here, and it also marked it down here. I'm moving my cursor a lot just to make sure you see it in the video. And in a short while I'll build the index so you can see what's happening. Okay, communist is probably in here a lot. So I've highlighted the word communist. I'm going to mark entry. It updates my dialog box. I'm going to say mark all. I'm not going to do all the words. I'm going to do the Nazi Germany one though, because it's a double word. Mark entry to update. And here I'll just put as it relates to feudal Europe. And I'm just going to mark this particular entry. Now I'm going to scroll down a couple of pages. And here I'm going to highlight free will. Mark all. Human rights. Mark all. Now let's say I skipped an entry that had human rights in the couple of pages that when I scrolled down, when I click mark all, it should mark the ones that I skipped as well. So what you have to decide for every entry that you want in your index. So do you want every reference to that word included in your index? If you do, you click mark all. If you want only specific instances of those words included in your index, I think you have to click on each one and click mark. And then any time that you want a sub entry for a specific index entry, you have to find that specific one in your document, highlight it, mark entry, and then type in your sub entry. So for instance, again, if I want gosh, manipulation. Again, to have a sub entry, I click the word manipulation. I selected mark entry. Now I'm going to do the sub entry, and I'm just going to go as it relates to intellect. And since I don't want every indication of manipulation to have this sub entry, I'm just going to click mark for that one. The only way to see these codes that it embeds is to activate this particular thing in Word. It's on the home ribbon. I don't know if you can see it. It's this little backwards P that is highlighted in blue. Right now it's on, so it's highlighted in blue, and if I turned it off, it wouldn't be highlighted. But turning it on, like look right here, you can see this little arrow. That's the special code Microsoft Word uses to indicate a tab. This dot right here is a space. This backwards P is the end of a paragraph. It's essentially what they call a hard return. You actually pressed the enter key, and when you did that, it inserted that particular code. And these are the codes that it inserts whenever you mark an index entry. So I can turn those codes off, which is how it will look when you print it or convert it to Kindle, or I can turn those codes on. If I'm trying to fix problems with technical issues with Word, I turn those codes on because those codes are usually where the problems are. Now I'm going to go all the way to the end of your document to insert your index. To do that, I just pressed Control End. And when I get to the bottom of your document, I see lots of weird codes. They're actually not weird. This just tells me you hit return a lot. And so the very end of your document just has a lot of returns. Maybe you just wanted a lot of blank pages. I'm not quite sure what you were doing. I'm going to delete all those because I want to show you something. All these blanks or hard returns are going to cause problems with your pagination and Kindle. So I'm just going to highlight all those returns. Oops. Oh, they're your endnotes. How weird. Anyway, I'll figure out what's going on with those. So here's your index. I see you entered a lot of hard returns to get the word index to start on a page by itself. I'm going to delete all those and show you a little trick. Right here, if I just have my cursor in front of the I for index and I press down the control button and then I press enter, it's going to move the word index to a brand new page. Even if you added 10 pages to the document before the word index, it's always going to start the word index on a brand new page because it's got what's called a page break right before it. Control enter entered that page break. I'm going to actually enter a second page break. So now there's two blank pages. Actually one blank page and then the page where I first entered that page break. Because I want to use this blank page to input the index, the automatically generated index. So I'm just putting my cursor right here, going to references, and now let's assume I've marked all my entries. I want to insert my index. So click Insert Index, and you can choose a couple of different styles: classic, fancy, modern, and bulleted. You can choose whatever style you want, whether you want it one column or two columns, whether you want, I don't know, it's not letting me do tab leaders. Like I can put, oh, that's right. If I want to put the page numbers on the right, then I can put a tab leader, like have it put a bunch of dots before the page number. Or I can take the dots out, or I can just have it put the page numbers right after the words and not right align them. So I'm actually going to right align them and put a dot leader, but I'm going to do it the classic. Oh shoot, classic doesn't let me do right aligned. gonna have to wait. Okay, so right align, tab leaders, modern. I click OK. And depending on how many entries you've marked and how long your document is, it'll take longer to generate the index. It obviously didn't take very long this time. It doesn't look very good because all those codes are activated. So if I go back to the home ribbon and click on that little backwards P, it will turn off those codes and look a lot better. So there is the automatically generated index.